I give the floor to the delegation of Iraq.
سيد الرئيس، أود أن ألقي هذا البيان نيابة عن المجموعة العربية.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a statement on behalf of the Arab group.
لإعراب عن تهنئة.
At the outset, allow me to congratulate you on assuming the presidency of the Security Council this month. We thank you for this opportunity to deliver this statement. We would also like to thank Mr. Yensha and Mr. Rajasinghe for their thorough briefings. The Middle East region is at a critical juncture in the context of the terrible and brutal war waged by Israel against the Gaza Strip and the humanitarian tragedy that has resulted from that, and which is worsening the situation for the population of the Gaza Strip, more than 2 million of them, the majority of them women and children. The world is seeing the shocking, striking scenes that are shocking the human conscience, images of civilians that are exhausted by hunger and the blockade, images of those that are being killed as they await a meal to feed their children. Given the serious results of Israeli policy, in the context of those results, the world learned of the dangerous decision taken by the Israeli government to invade the Gaza Strip and to impose full control on it. The Arab group, in the strongest possible terms, condemns the plan adopted by the Israeli cabinet, aiming to consolidate its occupation of the Gaza Strip and to expand its total military control in the Gaza Strip. This is a continuation of flagrant Israeli violations of international law, international humanitarian law, and this clearly undermines the peaceful solution as well as the inalienable right of the Palestinian people to establish an independent state with Jerusalem as capital. The Arab group considers the announcement calling for the imposition of so-called Israeli authority on an occupied Jerusalem as a flagrant violation of international law and also a flagrant violation of the relevant resolutions of the Security Council, which affirms that all measures and decisions aiming to legitimize the occupation are null and void, including settlement building activities in the occupied Palestinian territory since 1967. Israel has no sovereignty over the occupied Palestinian territory. This unilateral Israeli action does not bring with it any legal consequences and cannot, in any case, modify the legal status of the occupied Palestinian territory, first and foremost Jerusalem, which remains an integral part of that territory. These measures only exacerbate tensions which are rising in the region, and which, because of Israeli aggression in Gaza and the resulting humanitarian strip in Gaza, are making the situation worse. Mr. President, the Arab group condemns civilians in Gaza being exposed to death, hunger, humiliation. We condemn the repeated use by Israel of starvation as a weapon of war and food as a lever to exert pressure. We condemn in the strongest possible terms the policies of blockade and the forced displacement of innocent civilians, as well as the repeated targeting of civilian facilities, including hospitals, displaced persons camps, and vital infrastructure. That constitutes a flagrant violation of international humanitarian law. We call upon the international community to act immediately to end the aggression and to recognize the catastrophe and the famine in Gaza, and also to break the blockade imposed upon the Gaza Strip. It is also necessary to guarantee the delivery of humanitarian assistance and relief, as well as medical assistance, and the access of international organizations must be guaranteed in Gaza, and their teams must be protected so that they can fully play their role. We also call for support for UNRWA and for accountability, international accountability mechanisms vis-à-vis these Israeli crimes to be activated. The Arab group welcomes the engagement by the State of Qatar and the Arab Republic of Egypt to continue their efforts with the United States of America when it comes to mediation in Gaza to reach a comprehensive and immediate agreement on a ceasefire which would end the war and put an end to the humanitarian suffering in the Gaza Strip, while also guaranteeing the protection of civilians, the exchange of detainees and prisoners, paving the way for an end to the crisis and a relaunch of recovery and reconstruction efforts. The Arab group had asked your August Council and reiterates this appeal today under the mandate of the Council in accordance with the Charter, the Council being the organ responsible for the maintenance of international peace and security. We had called upon the Council to adopt a resolution under Chapter 7, which would guarantee that Israel, the occupying power, respected the relevant resolutions of the Council for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, and to ensure that that effective measures were taken to force Israel to end its illegal occupation of the Palestinian territory and to implement the provisions of the advisory opinion of the ICJ dating the 19th of July, 2024. Mr. President, the Arab group categorically rejects attempts to undermine the Ibrahimi Mosque and all holy sites and holy places, both Muslim and Christian, in the occupied Palestinian territory, including the targeting by the occupying forces recently of the Latin Church in Gaza. The Arab group reiterates the need to respect the legal and historic status quo of the Islamic and Christian holy sites in the city of Jerusalem. There is no sovereignty for Israel, the occupying power, over the Palestinian territory and the sites of Palestinian heritage. In that regard as well, the Arab group firmly condemns the incursion by several dozen Israeli settlers led by the Minister of National Security of the occupation government of the terrace of the Al-Aqsa Mosque. We also condemn the Israeli occupation plan to transfer the administration authority of the Ibrahimi Mosque and its control from the Ministry of Religious Affairs, the Palestinian Ministry of Religious Affairs, to the Jewish Religious Council in Kiryat Abia. These measures are flagrant violations of international law and international legitimacy. They are a provocation of the sentiments of Muslims around the world. The Arab group warns that the continuation of those violations would expand the circle of violence in the region. The Arab group calls upon the international community to shoulder its moral and legal responsibility to protect Palestinian holy places and to force the Israeli occupying authorities to end their criminal plans aiming at erasing the identity of the Palestinian people. The Arab group reaffirms that the use of force only leads to further destruction and misery. It will not lead to peace. There is no alternative to justice for the Palestinian people and a comprehensive, global, lasting solution to the Palestinian question under international law and resolutions of international law. We also reiterate our commitment to a just and comprehensive peace as a strategic choice to end the occupation and to resolve the Arab-Israeli conflict under international law and the resolutions of international legitimacy, including Resolutions 242, 338, 497, 1515, and 2234, but also the Principle of Land for Peace and the Arab Peace Initiative of 2002. The colonial occupation of the Palestinian and Arab occupied lands must be ended, including the occupied Syrian Golan, and the occupied Lebanese territories. The independence of a Palestinian state must be enshrined that is fully sovereign with Jerusalem as its capital. The inalienable rights of the Palestinian people must be restored, including the right to self-determination, the right to return, and compensation for Palestinian refugees, the issue of which must be resolved under General Assembly Resolution number 194. In that regard, the International Conference for the Settlement of the Palestinian Question, held last month, co-chaired by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and France, reflects a collective will on the part of the international community to effectively and seriously contribute to the peaceful settlement of the Palestinian question in the form of concrete commitments for a comprehensive, just, and lasting settlement of this issue, which establishes peace, security, and stability in the region. The Arab Group welcomes the communique of the 21st of July 2025 by a number of countries regarding the situation in the occupied Palestinian territories, which clearly called for an end to the aggression in Gaza, the immediate ending of the policy of genocide, and the systematic starvation, and accountability for perpetrators of crimes against the Palestinian people, as well as sanctions being imposed on the occupying power and its terrorist settlers. We also welcome the announcement by a number of countries of their intention to recognize the brotherly Palestinian state. These are positive measures in line with international law and the relevant resolutions of the Security Council. This constitutes significant support for the legitimate rights of the fraternal Palestinian people to ensure that they can enjoy their right to self-determination and establish their independent state, and also to strengthen the possibilities for a comprehensive and lasting peace in the region. The Arab Group reiterates its call upon all those states that have not yet recognized the state of Palestine to take similar measures that reflect a commitment to international law and to support the historic unchanged rights of the fraternal Palestinian people on their territory. Thank you, Mr. President.